Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast and a game between Gamania Sen versus Donray Gu here on Daybreak. Now, as I'm sure you guys can all tell from the video title, this is from the TESL Summer 2012 finals, and this was a show match between Sen and Donray Gu, and hopefully it lives up to its name. I don't remember the last time I've actually seen these two players play against each other, Sen and Donray Gu, and I'm also pretty sure that outside of Taipei and outside of Taiwan, I don't think anyone else has these replays. So once again, thank you to the TESL for sending me all of these great replays, especially this Sen versus Donray Gu match. This is going to be an absolute blast as I cast these games with you, and just really looking forward to some high level matches here. We have Donray Gu spawning as the red Zerg on the bottom left hand side of the map. Meanwhile, Sen has spawned as the blue Zerg on the top right hand side of the map. Now, a lot of the games that Sen did play in the TESL, it seemed really one-sided. Sen was just able to sit back, defend, and then once he got his economy going, there wasn't much that the other players could do. Now, I do expect this to be a different sort of game, as he will be going up a very notable Korean player in Donray Gu, as both players, or excuse me, just Donray Gu setting up a hatchery over here. It is going to be a 15 hatch versus a 15 hatch, and Donray Gu does have a slight advantage. Now, the advantage is pretty much inconsequential for now, as a 3-second advantage doesn't really mean much. But we all know that Starcraft is a game of seconds, and what you try to do is you try to get a small advantage and then turn that into a larger advantage, and that into a larger advantage as well. We are seeing Sen quickly go into an extractor pool style opening, building these at almost the exact same time. Meanwhile, Donray Gu deciding to change things up a little bit. Nope, he's also going for the extractor as well. Gonna be a little bit behind his extractor, but then again, the metabolic boost timings should be about the same. We're seeing an Overlord now make its way inside the main base. Taking a look, both players have pretty much scouted out. Sen, quickly seeing that there is no spawning pool yet up and running, knows that he can still take a quick look around. He does see that there is an extractor down, which exactly is what he needs to see. And now he knows that in 50 seconds a queen will be trained, so that Overlord needs to book it out of there as fast as an Overlord can book it out of anywhere. Overlord's now in position. We are going to be getting some drones now transferred to the low ground. Once again, a small supply advantage for Donray Gu, sitting at 20/20 now. Nope, it has been evened up once again, and both sides are still going at it. I believe there should be a slight timing difference between the metabolic boost between these two players, as the queens will be coming out for Donray Gu slightly faster, which will in turn be more larva slightly faster. So far in this matchup, we see both players are supply blocked, or were supply blocked for the same amount of time there, but they didn't have much to spend their resources on anyways. So these timings are very well defined, and they know when exactly they can be supply blocked, as larva will be limited or resources will be limited, and then that Overlord quickly comes back out to get into more larva once again. That is one of the benefits of Zerg, the fact that they can supply block themselves for a little bit of time, and that hatchery will continue to produce larvae up to 3. Now, as it does so, as soon as that Overlord does pop out, the Zerg player is then able to train up more drones, 3 drones, perhaps even 6 drones at a time off of 2 hatcheries and without spawn larva, allowing them to be not supply blocked or not hurt from being supply blocked early on in the game, as opposed to, say, Terran and Protoss. Now, we already see Sen going into a fast tech to tier 2. He has established up his second extractor, and this extractor is actually inside his main base. Now, a lot of the time, players will actually be setting up their extractor at the natural expansion, And this may be a little bit one of those mind games at this point, saying, you know what, I know Donregu, you're probably most likely going to be coming back in. Oh, Zergling's now trying to make their way in, but a beautiful hold by Sen on the wall to prevent any real scout here. This is important and key as the extractor is already coming online, or is already online and operational. Sen now going into 2 more extractors after this queen does get the kill. And once again, that is very important to know that Sen is going very heavy into tier 2, and we might see some Mutalisks coming in just a moment. Zerglings now trying to make their way inside. The Zerglings are going to take a quick look and see that layer is already up. Is the Spire down? No Spire. Nope, Spire is already down, now being built over here at the natural. So it is going to be a 2-base Zerg with Mutalisk versus a 3-base Zerg. But there's only surprisingly, and at this point, 3 queens. A lot of Zerg players have gone heavy into queens, as queens are so effective. Queens, good anti-air, very strong range at a range of 7, more than double that of a Mutalisk. And with their attack speed, they actually have higher DPS. As long as those Mutalisks those queens are not staying too close together. Zerglings quickly make a run over and find a group of roaches to push them back. We are seeing that 78 over 78 supply for Donregu. Meanwhile, Gamania Sen sitting at 69 over 92. He's establishing up his third, but he's really going to have to deal a lot of damage with those Mutalisks. He's banking a lot of resources at this point. He does have the larva count, and now what are we going into? Zerglings. Alright, so surprise Zerglings at this stage. I expected him to go into very heavy Mutalisks, as we now see Zerglings trying to run around. The Zerglings may be more for a defensive measure, as there we go. We are finally getting into those Mutalisks into the air. More larva limited than anything else. Not that much larva, and he really needs to get those larvae out in just a second. Zergling's now going to be coming back down here. Hatchery now going to get pressured as 9 Mutalisks are in the air. Hatchery already down to about 700 hit points there. Zergling's now coming in from all sides. Is the Hatchery going to fall? Looks like the Hatchery may fall here, down to 600 some odd hit points. But the Roaches are now pushing away, trying to fight back against the Zerglings instead of that Hatchery. And it looks like, yes, the Mutalisk will be coming out to join in on this fight. 1 Mutalisk against a whole bunch of Roaches with Zerglings as support. Zergling is the main DPS, and Donregu reacts and responds accordingly by setting up 2 Spore Crawlers, and now perhaps going for 3 Spore Crawlers here. So take a look at the main base. There is 1 Spore Crawler here, nothing, or 1 Spore Crawler being built over here at the natural, as the Mutalisks are going to have a very small window to deal any serious damage. And at this point, Sen needs to get a little bit lucky. Zerglings now coming and making their way in. How much damage can they deal? The Mutalisks are going after the Banelings. The Banelings pretty much getting detonated so that the Zerglings can now push their way in. And there you go. All the Banelings have been popped. No, there's 1 more Baneling in there. A Queen now going to get taken down as the 8 Mutalisks, 7 Mutalisks are backing off. So far, 11 drones now being added, 65 to 71 infestors being added by Donregu. We are once more even in terms of supply, as we now see a 4th base being taken by Sen. Sen now trying to go into that 5th and 6th gas now. 6 gas play off of 3 bases. Gonna perhaps find, accidentally attacks a spine crawler instead of going after all of those drones there. As Zerglings now making a run and beeline move over here to the 3rd base. The Zerglings are quickly going to spot the Mutalisks, and the Mutalisks are going to spot the Zerglings. The Mutalisks are not turning around. Finally turning around here. The Queen now needs to be careful, as the Zerglings are going to try to engage. There is 1 Queen off over here, as the Creep Tumor does get taken down, but the Mutalisks get off a few pop shots, as the Zerglings are now once again running away. We are going to see an extractor on the Rich Vespian Geyser. Hatchery down over here as well. Zerglings still trying to make their way up inside the main base. They will be able to do exactly that, as the Hatchery has now been placed down. Zerglings still running around. It looks as though, yes, this Queen will be able to handle all of those Zerglings very easily, as Donregu once again takes the supply lead at 135 compared to 119. 2 Queens now out on the field. 1 Hatchery in midfield as well. We are going to see that Rich Vespian Geyser, yes, already being harvested, as Zerglings somehow able to catch a couple of Queens in midfield. And this would have been bad. The infestors were nearby. If a fungal growth had landed, there would be enough infestors for chain fungal growth alongside that 1 Queen to take down that flock of Mutalisks. And Sen pretty much is relying on these Mutalisks for map control. Hatchery of Sen here at the 5th location. Now Zerglings are going to make their way up very easily and attempt to take it down. Zerglings are not upgraded at all, as we now see 1-1 upgrades come in from Sen. Meanwhile, 2-0 upgrades for Roaches and Hydralisk, as we see no cancellation there. Meanwhile, a major battle. Oh, dang it, I hit T instead of B. I don't know when the timing was. Alright, 10. Okay, so that should be at the 14-minute mark. Let me cue that up. Alright, through the wonders of modern technology, I am back, and let's go ahead and get that overlay timer back up. So Zerglings are coming around the top over here. I think I went back a little bit too far. So Zerglings are going to make their way and come back around. Yeah, I went a little bit too far. Anyways, we'll see the Zerglings still dance around here, and we are going to be seeing, yep, these two queens. Let me go ahead and try to cue it up a little bit better for you. Alright, here we go. Let's just get back into the action. Wow, this is just not my day today. Alright, let's go ahead and get this game going once again. Roaches are battling up. Infested Terrans are down over here. Looks like the Roaches are going to be backing off. Infestor is now out of energy for Sen, as the Roaches are all very low on hit points. Infested Terrans with time life will get taken down here, as the Roaches are now trying to make their way into the 3rd base. It looks like they may be able to take down this Hatchery. Hatchery down to 116 hit points. Does it have enough for a transfuse? Down to 32 hit points. Down to 16. And wow. 17 hit points left on a Hatchery, as Hydralisk now just pop out. Roaches are making their way over once again. Roaches and Hydralisk back over here. There are some Infestors. The Infestors are going to be ripe for the picking, as the Roaches quickly come in, taking down 2 very expensive Infestors, and now make their way inside the main base for some scouting. Meanwhile, we see 3 Roaches now making their way in off over here, trying to take down this Hatchery. The Hatchery is already at 200 hit points due to the transfusion and some natural regeneration, as the Hydralisk and Roaches still wandering around pretty effectively. So far, we have a lot of Hatcheries. A new Hatchery once again being replaced by Sen here in the bottom right-hand side of the map. An Overlord simply flying by a whole bunch of Hydralisks. You don't see that very often, as the Hydralisk of Sen now look to make a move. Groove Spine upgrades, both now from Donray Gu, as we already see. No, we do not have Groove Spine upgrades on the Roaches of Sen. Very, very curious play, as how much damage can be dealt. Hydralisks are now going to be coming in. The Hydralisks only have a range of 5, and the Roaches are with a range of 4, so how much damage can be dealt, as we now see some beautiful fungals coming in on both sides of the wall. Infested Terrans now being spawned as well, both sides attacking. Roaches trying to break their way out of that fungal growth. It looks like a lot of damage and a lot of units will be lost here, as the Roaches of Donray Gu able to hit a couple of those units as they were trying to run away. They ended up running off of creep, making them slower than the units still on creep, taking a little bit more damage once again. Hydralisk looking to come in, and they did take down 2 of the Overlords off here. We are sitting at 168 over 174. Army supplies does show in favor of Donray Gu at this point, as some Infestors are making their way over to the bottom right hand side of the map. Drones now making their way in. Double extractor is being established by Sen, so it is going to be, I believe, 9 gas play with 1 rich Vespian Geyser, and now Overseer looking to make its way over. Infestors still wandering around here. We can see Infestors and Roaches still engaging here, and are they going to be making a move? Yes, down over here. Both sides nearing max already, as the Roaches are going to engage and attempt to take down something here. Not going to work, as Sen is pretty much responding and reacting every time and in the proper position. However, some burrowed Infestors now making their way in. Infested Terrans could easily take down this Hatchery here, and it looks like it will be doing exactly that. So many Infested Terrans. The Infestors trying to pop it off, but not going to work. Down goes the Hatchery, and now the Queen trying to fight back as well. A new Hatchery already being placed down, but the damage has been dealt. Also losing the Spine Crawler. Roaches looking to engage off over here on the southern path. Not going to work, as we also see some Infestors now making their way inside the main base. Evolution Chambers 2-2 upgrades about to be completed. We'll see what Donray Gu does with those with these Infestors, as those Infestors are simply just sitting there. Greater Spire tech now coming in, and the Greater Spire is also an easy building for picking off, as the Infestors look to make their way down there as well, and perhaps shoot and destroy this Greater Spire. If the Greater Spire does go down, that's going to be a really, really long time to replenish that tech. 100 seconds to rebuild the Spire, and then all of the lost time here. The infested Terrans look like they were going to be able to take down that Spire with little to no issue once more, as we still see a whole bunch of Infestors back in the main base. Roach is now going to be engaging on the front door. Infestors now being dropped down. One Queen off in the wrong position as some Spinecrawlers trying to be morphed in. Donregu with a dominant position here should be able to just simply attack and take down multiple units. But here comes the counter army of Sen. Sen coming back. Sen is also going to double Spire against a single Spire upgrades and a single Spire of Donregu. Both sides still fighting it out. Some massive fungal growth coming in, and both sides 178 versus 172. One Spinecrawler in on this fight, or two Spinecrawlers in on this fight, adding some extra DPS and also adding some additional damage absorption, as we now see the Roaches are trying to make their way out, but fresh Roaches are back out. But Sen does have inferior numbers, as we see a fungal growth, and a beautiful one at that. More and more Roaches are still trying to engage. It looks like the rest of the Hydralisks will get taken down, and Sen with 159 compared to Donregu's 180 is behind by about 25 supply. Alright, let's take a look into the main base. 77 drones versus 71 at this point and stage in the game. Once more, a crazy fight happening down over here. More fungal growth. Fungal growth hitting Roaches just seem to be this massive cloud of just uncomfortable growth. More so than, say, on Hydralisk, as we now see both sides still attacking again. Queen's now coming back in, and there is the GG. Sen losing game 1 in this series to Donregu. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Sorry for the technical issues. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Stay tuned for game 2.